Welcome everyone to episode 19 of the Unintentional Journeyman. This is the penultimate episode of our second season, as it is now the end of March 18th, 2023. Things are steady as she goes. I'd like to we'll take a little bit of look at the tables, take a look at some of our results, talk a little bit about some unhappiness in the squad. I also want to show how we've been doing in school, and then take a look at our tactics and jump right into the match. Today on the docket, we have East Thurrock, who sit in 17th place, and they are our easiest match left in the season. We have 7 matches left, but let's dig right in and take a look at the table. Pretty decent. We're sitting at 15th place. We are 11 points above the relegation zone with 7 matches to go. So our magic number, if you would, is 12, which means that if Hemel Hempstead drops points and we gain points up to the number of 12, so if we were to win 2 and gain 6 points and they were to lose 2 and lose 6 points, that would be a 12-point swing, and that would guarantee that we are not getting relegated. So, not out of the woods at this point, but things are looking pretty good right now. I mean, it's almost starting, we're only a couple points out of 13th. The top half of the table is a good 12 points away with 7 matches to go. That would be tricky, but if we look at Eastbourne-Borough and Oxford City and even Kingstonian to a degree, they're having kind of a run of bad results. Bath has lost, or Oxford City's lost their last 3 matches, hasn't won in 5, at least it shows up here. So, unless they kind of continue this precipitous drop, it's looking like if we can keep as we're going, be nice to end up somewhere in between 14th and 17th and stay away from that 18th and 19th. And certainly we the utmost concern is to not get relegated. But our results have been pretty good along these lines since we left. I think we did the 1-0 Chelmsford match was our last episode, our match of the month. We're now into March right now. We played we played Bath and went to a 0-0 tie. Played Truro, picked up a 1-0 win. Played Merthyr, and we're up 1-0 late, and they got a free kick and scored. But again, our defense, if we look since the beginning of the year here, outside of that catastrophe against Hampton and Waterloo, after which we changed our tactics, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11 matches we've conceded 2 goals. So defensively, we've continued our strong performances, and it seems like the teams would have adjusted to this by now. So I'm hopeful that this is the thing. Offensively, we continue to struggle. Obviously, we've given up 2 goals. We've only scored 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 goals in 11 matches, which is pretty pathetic. And if we go back here to the table real quick, we can kind of see if we sort for goals for, we sit at the very bottom of the league, 27 goals in 35 matches. So pretty awful offensive performance. However, if we sort for defensively, 3, 6, 7, 8th in the league. And that, if we consider that we gave up 13 goals in our first 5, 6 matches or something like that, 7 matches, our performance since then has been pretty strong. So I would love to get some more offense, but I don't really want to mess with things too much. I don't want to compromise our defense to increase our offense, because at the rate that we're going, we're picking up points to end up somewhere around here. And if we can finish between 13th and 17th, or just avoid relegation with what we're doing, I'm tempted at this point in the season with so little time left to really not mess with stuff. But I do have a couple ideas, and I'll talk a little bit about those later. I did want to bring up one thing with squad unhappiness here. We have this guy, Askey, who I think he's been a little bit demoted now. Where did he go? Here he is. This guy was unhappy. And so I played him. If we look at his recent form, he wanted more playing time, and he actually is one of our alternate. I alternate him at midfield with Burgess and Askey. They've been switching in and out. So he's playing pretty much every other game. He complained, but he had a little stretch of 3 where he didn't play, and I guess that was enough to trigger him. And he kind of came in and said, I want more playing time. So I alternated him, and pretty much over here, what's that, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 matches, he got 7 starts. And then at the end, that was kind of the timeline ran out where he wanted to be played more. He actually kind of won that, got the goal in the last match, the 1-1 tie, to kind of put us up. So you'd think 7 matches 7 starts and 12 matches would be enough to appease the guy. But still, he's just completely unhappy about his playing time. And so, he wants to be put on the transfer list. So I'm done with this guy, and I'm just going to kind of let Burgess get all the starts now because we don't really need him, except maybe coming off the bench. But it's just kind of surprising to see someone who, hadn't been playing all that much and then gets a reasonable run of starts, but still it wasn't enough to make the guy happy. So that's kind of a bummer. Another thing I wanted to point out is, I haven't mentioned it lately, we have been to school. If we look at our profile, we have now a Continental C license. I went right back to the board and said, hey, can I get my Continental B? They said yes, so we're now on another 6-month course, which kind of makes me think if we stay up, I'm going to most definitely stay with this team for next season, because it's March now. 6 months would take us into September. And I don't know what would happen if we started school and then got fired or left this team. Would we continue to go to school, or would we have to restart that? I don't really know. If anybody knows, I'd be interested to hear how that works. But for the moment, I'm thinking I want to stay anyway if we are able to not get relegated and stay up. I've been working to kind of continue with the team in the Vanarama regional leagues, so I have no intents of leaving this team. But I'm kind of curious to know what would happen. So we will stay. That would be great to get a Continental B license. A number of our stats have gone up. Attacking, defending now up to 10, mental up to 10, man managing up to 14. So we're starting to drift into that upper half with a few of these attributes. So that's all good things. The last thing, let's go right into our tactics, take a look at the squad, and then we're going to start the match. Again, I'm trying to get these episodes down to under 30 minutes, ideally 20 to 25, but apparently I'm a little bit wordy, so they do take a little bit longer until I get faster here. We will be playing East Thurrock at home today. I've been alternating between 2 basic formations, and this is our more aggressive of the 2. It's not aggressive by any means, but it's a balanced formation where we split between, just kind of seeing how things go, but not playing any kind of a defensive set. When we play better teams, where we play an equal team on the road, I've been shifting to a similar formation with more of a defensive mindset on that. But here's our starting 11. Barden, who, again, probably our best signing all year, has just continued to play outstanding in goal. He did actually bobble and drop and let that ball go in on that free kick that I thought he normally would have saved, but he's not perfect, and still been a huge acquisition. Our defense with Manuel has kind of won over the starting job over Treacher, and will stay that way for most matches. He's just been playing better. Bassett always starts. He's our loanee, looking really good. Haynes alternates still with Gibbs. It's Haynes' turn. Rhodes alternating with Balogan, but he's got the start today. Martin has our lock at defensive midfielder. So these names starting to look pretty familiar here. Still kind of tweaking the midfielder. Burgess will get the start now that Ashke's unhappy, and we'll probably get most of the starts going the rest of the way out, unless Askey for some reason should be repentant and kind of want to work his way back into the flock here. Campbell out on the right side in that Carlero role, and Nguesson likewise a similar role on the left side. Since we've brought them in those roles, I think they kind of protect that wider space better than we were doing. That's really where our defense has started to shine, when we kind of shifted their roles and got kind of our players set. So defensively, again, had such a nice run of defensive performances that I don't want to really mess with it. One of the things I mentioned in the last episode is that our strikers aren't good enough, and they definitely aren't good enough. I've still been trying to find some kind of a combination that works. A lot of our goals that we are getting, these individual goals, are coming from places like the midfielders. And so that's still a problem. But, with 7 games left in the season, even though I've been looking for strikers, I hesitate to spend a lot of money on one because there's such a short amount of time left in the season, and I haven't found anyone that I say, wow, this person's really good. The ones that I have found that are really good, that I would say, wow, I would absolutely sign this guy. This guy is definitely a cut above what we've got. I don't see any flaws with the guy. He'd be a perfect signing. At this point in the season, they usually want a lot of money. Now, if we were right on the cusp of relegation, I'd probably make that move. But given where we're sitting with the amount of time left, I kind of think the best move is to try to nurse the season out with the players we've got, rather than committing a lot of money, because the guys that want to sign now, they want to sign for the rest of this year and often 1 or 2 years into the future. And they're asking like £750, £700, £500 a week, which for us, where we're at, I really want to be frugal and keep control of our wages. The last thing I want to do is sign someone and overpay at this point in the season. The other thought I had, and what I've started to look for, is that, and we played with this around early in the season, is to get out of this kind of 4-1-3-2 and just move the central midfielder up and play a 4-4-2 diamond. And Campbell can play in that role. He wasn't doing all that well when we had him up there. So I'm kind of thinking he's not the person to bring up there, and I like him out on the side here. But at the same time, I think it makes sense to try to see if we can find a central attacking midfielder. And I've been looking for a player like that because I think that might also solve our problem. It might link the midfield and the attack better and get us a few more bodies forward and yet not compromise our defense to a great degree. But I haven't found anybody. I might see if someone like Usman could play out on the side here as a Carralero role instead of Campbell, and then I could bring Campbell up and try that. But for the moment, I'm not quite doing that. Usman's still not quite in match shape, so I'm trying to avoid playing players that aren't in match ready. So those are kind of the thoughts going forward. But on the whole, big match today. If we could beat East Thurrock or get points against East Thurrock, a draw would be fine. We're kind of inching towards that safety zone. A loss here combined with some wins down below us would kind of snap us awake here and think that we are quite a ways, not nearly out of the woods. But our recent form has been pretty good. We have been undefeated over the last 6 matches with 3 wins, 3 ties, going back to kind of where we redid our tactics and stopped listening to our assistant manager and made things a lot simpler. In these 11 matches, we've got 5 wins, 4, 5, 6 ties and a loss. So that's a pretty good clip, and so kind of tempted not really to mess with things at this point in the season, considering what our objectives are. So let's dig into the match here. I think our team is all set to go. Match preview, we're up against East Thurrock. Let's click this forward team selection. Yeah, everything is set. I think we're all set. I don't see any problems with this. Again, very simple instructions for the team that has worked pretty well for us recently. Just check our subs. I think we're good there. Let's jump into submit team and let's get this started here. Big match. If we could pick up points, this would edge us closer. Again, our magic number is 12. Any combination of points that we get or that Hemel Hempstead drops that amount to 12 would guarantee that we would not get relegated for the first time in 3 tries with the Vanarana Regional League. Let's head right to the dressing room here. Set opponent instructions. I want to press on the outside backs and press on the outside midfielders. Oops, sorry, I have to keep forgetting that I'm going to do that first, because if I ask the assistant afterwards, he takes off my instructions, so I have to remember to ask him first. Okay, so we're pressing the outside midfielders and pressing the outside backs. High intensity pressing there. And let's go to our team talk. Players are in good spirits. Always good to hear. Attentive and keen to take instruction on board. Let's do our team talk. We've been on a good run lately, so go out there and impress me. Sure. Y'all listened keenly, but let's go to our handy-dandy I have faith in you, which our young players seem to really, really get fired up about. Everybody's good except for a couple of them. And even then, they're listening keenly, which I always take as neither a positive nor a negative. So there we go. Let's kick off here. And we are in the black and red. Weather looks pretty good today. I didn't check it beforehand, but looks like the sun's out with some shadows there. Although I have seen rainy forecasts that have... Stay in. Whoops. Turner might need to improve his balance and agility there. I do think... I know I mentioned last year how every time the ball popped loose, it seemed like the other team was quicker to react to it and just had faster reactions. That hasn't happened as much this year, and I do think that must have to do with the physical attributes of the players. Nguesson wins a corner by whacking a free kick off the defensive wall. And it'd be nice to pick one up here. Bremming far post. There it is! Oh, wow, so close. Nice try. Was that Bremming that he hit on the outside? We are outshooting them here, 3-1. And on target 1, they have yet to get a shot. I think they listened here. Okay. Oops. He's dangerous. Newfield isn't he our chairman? He's our chairman. What? He's playing for the other team? What the heck? That can't be right. It must be hopefully it's not his son or his brother or something like that. And he's bribed some of our players to lose or let his son or brother get a goal here. Rather quiet match now. It's settled down. We're about a third of the way through. It is Josh Newville. I do wonder if they are related. That makes me a little bit nervous here. Whoops, I missed something. What was that? Josh Newville, his son, needs to be closed down on the edge of the box. Always press. Sure, that makes sense, I think. Doesn't commit a player to mark him, which I tend to not like those instructions. Then they usually say we have to kind of intentionally mark someone, and then I'll say sure, and then about 10 minutes later they say it's pulling a guy out of his position and we're leaving space open, and that doesn't really help us at all. So 44 minutes in, still 0-0. We are even on shots. Hampton and Easter, we are even on possession. Fairly even match so far. It said it was adding 1 minute, but it went almost to 2 minutes there. Okay, into the dressing room. This is kind of what we've been getting. This is a very typical match where, we're 0-0. We have not, again, our defense has looked good. This is a typical performance that we've seen so far where our defense seems to really not give up too many chances, and our offense doesn't really seem to get many chances. So not necessarily the most dynamic or exciting brand of football, but it's been working, and my goal, again, is to keep this team up. And so I'll be happy with boring at this moment if it does keep us up. We can still win this, keep working hard, and it will come. Yeah, let's go with that. And let's give them... you have the ability to make a real difference out there. Yeah, our defense likes that. And then our midfield is a little bit less confidence. I'm going to say, that worked for them too, this one. You have the ability to make a real difference for us today. Go out there and do it. But for whatever reason, Turner doesn't seem to get excited about anything, and Bassett doesn't either. But good enough. We are ready to walk through walls. I don't think I can ask much more from an emotional response at halftime. Let's start the second half. We're underway. I'd love to see us be able to get a goal here. I might slide us a little bit more attacking in about 60 minutes or so if we're still tied. And well, kind of looks a little bit lost there. Decides to off the ball to Barden. Barden looks outside, and nothing exciting happens. So let's go to 70 minutes. I might slide a little bit positive because we are at home against a team a little bit below us in the table. And sometimes when we go positive, we do get a little bit better results from our players. They are edging us on possession and shots, but it's still pretty much a wash here. Another quiet game, 60 minutes in, almost, and relatively few highlights. Energy-wise, we're looking pretty good, although Dave Martin doesn't have the best stamina here, and he's down to below 70% still with 30 minutes left. Let's take a look at some tactical changes that we might do. How have our strikers up top have not been very good, but I sometimes wonder with these low numbers, I'm starting to think it's just because they haven't had many opportunities to get the ball. So it's not necessarily their fault, it's just that they don't really get a chance to play very much. Okay. Should I try that 4-4-2 with Campbell up top? Bring Usman in. That would be a little bit beyond what I want to do. I think player-wise, I'm going to let it go for another 10 minutes here. Let's just go tactically a little bit more aggressive here. Let's get on the front foot. And he's on support. Let's let Martin get involved in the offense a little bit more. Deep-lying playmaker on support. Those are very modest changes. Let's see if they just nudge things to give us a chance where we can pick up a goal. RV Turner picks up a second yellow card. That makes me think, and he's got a 6.3. Yeah, let's do that. Now that he's got a yellow card and he's at a 6.3, and I was thinking about bringing Bird in anyway. Sometimes Bird plays really well, and when we do that, let's create a little bit more confusion by shifting sides here. So pressing forward, support, Bremming, be a poacher, an attack. And let's confirm those changes. Small things, but I sometimes wonder if they're marking a player intentionally or something, that maybe switching sides there could... Oh, fine. So another yellow card. How come we're the only ones with yellow cards? Still very quiet match. We're watching a scoreboard here, 70 minutes in. I have to believe something's going to happen, but it's clear we're not quite making any progress here. Okay, I can make one more sub. My thoughts are to bring in Sabanda at central mid instead of Burgess, although he is playing well. He's another attacking midfielder, which would kind of up our energy level there. Martin is tired, but I don't... Oh, I should have had Akinola ready to come in. I'm not sure why I don't. That seems like a tactical error on my part. Or I could bring in Leighton up top to give us a burst of energy for Bremming. Let's try that first. So let's bring Bremming out for Noel Leighton. And he's not as good at pressing as a poacher as he is at attacking forward. So let's do that. Good enough. A little bit more positive here. 72 minutes in. We haven't had a shot here in the second half, despite going positive. They've had more shots, but again, nothing highlight-worthy whatsoever. Oops, Field with a corner. Where we have struggled is on set pieces. Oh, that's nice. Okay, Leighton's got the ball. Fresh legs. He's outrunning the defense, but looks like he kind of ran out of gas there. Not inspiring confidence. Dave Martin is tired, but I don't really have someone that can play back there. Usman can? No, he can't. I should have Akinola on the bench, but I don't. I'm going to have to ask Martin to play tired, but let's not have him run so much. He can sit back and defend. Let's bring in Sabanda at attacking midfield. Fresh legs for the attack here. 10 minutes to go. Do I go attacking? No, let's stay where we are. 0-0 works for us, and we have sometimes picked up goals here late to win it. 85 minutes. We have not had a shot in the second half, so if they made adjustments, I don't know, does the AI make adjustments at halftime? If we've made adjustments at halftime, they haven't really worked. Going positive hasn't worked for sure. Although our defense is racking up some pretty good numbers. 90 minutes, 4 minutes to go. They're playing with more discipline. Looks like everybody's happy for a tie here. Manuel kicks it forward to the goalkeeper. Is that the... What a thrilling match there. I hope everybody enjoyed that one. Did we have like 3 highlights or 4 highlights the whole way? That was probably the driest match I think we've had on an episode yet. I don't even feel like it started. Was there anything that was even close to... did we have any? I don't remember a positive chance that we had, and I don't remember feeling like they're going to score at any point in time. But this, this is what it is. This is actually probably a good match to show everybody, and a good match for all of us to see, because we've had so many 0-0 ties. Our offense is fairly non-existent, but our defense is just a brick wall. And so now that's, in 12 matches, we've had 10 clean sheets. So whatever we're doing defensively, the formation, the players, the roles, and everything like that, it's pretty clear. I don't want to say clear that we figured it out, but it looks more than a flukish thing. It looks like we've got something going defensively, and they know what they're doing. So pretty happy again with our defense, and I hesitate to screw around with the defense too much at this point in the season because, not good enough. No, that's fine. You're unlucky today. Sure. Listen keenly. Yeah, not much to say there. I mean, it wasn't a great performance, especially up top, but I don't know if our strikers really got a chance to get the ball. So with a magic number of 12, Hemel Hempstead drew as well. Is that correct? Where's the scores over here? Kind of watching our magic number here. Hemel Hempstead tied Bognor Regis 3-3, which is interesting because they are both right at the bottom there. So them splitting points is actually pretty good. We do slide down a place because Gloucester must have won. No, Gloucester tied as well. Were we in 16th? I thought we were in 15th. Oh, someone below us. Merthyr. Oh, okay. There it is. Merthyr won to jump ahead of us in the table here. So we trail them by 1 now. We were 2 points ahead of them. But we sit in 16th place, which is a very comfortable spot. We are still 11 points above relegation. 6 matches to go, so our magic number, the most points they could get with 6 matches to go, is 18 points. 18 points would give them 47. We sit at 40 right now, so we need to get to 48. So our magic number is 8. So because we picked up, that doesn't make sense. We picked up 1. They dropped 2. So it should be 9, actually. Oh, they can get to 40. Yeah, 9 points should be the magic number to exceed them. So we inch closer. Not necessarily the most outstanding result from us, but we'll take it. I'm not going to complain about draws at this point in the season. We're on good shape. The difference between us finishing 18th and 13th and 15th or 14th is not all that big of a deal to me. But anyway, there we have episode 19. I will be back in the future once I figure out what's going on with our oddly balanced, this is our schedule. Yeah, okay, here's our schedule. This is fine. I'll play the slow match. I'm going to play the Oxford City match, Kingston. We'll come back here somewhere, Wellington, Dartford. I'd love to be able to play a match where we could possibly clinch staying out of relegation, or if things turn south a little bit and we are back in that relegation battle, of course I want to come back for those critical matches that we would need to win to be able to stay up. So could go a couple of different ways, but I'll kind of pick a good match to be back for our April match of the month. Thank you so much for coming by and watching. If you are enjoying things or had fun listening, likes, subscriptions, and comments are always appreciated. Have a great day. Hope you enjoy Football Manager. And also in the next episode, I will come in and talk a little bit about what my plans are for the new version, Football Manager 2020. I pre-ordered yesterday and have been thinking about what kind of a save I want to do. I did make a little bit of an intro for it. I'd like to up the production scale of some of these a little bit. So I made a 30-second intro for it and have been thinking about what I want to do. And I think I've mainly decided to do something similar to this, but I'll talk a little bit about more on that next time. That's it for now. Have a great day. Thanks for coming by.